Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and well, you might notice things are looking a little differently today, and that's because there was an issue with the computer. Don't worry, it's nothing major. In fact, it's relatively minor. However, it will need to be fixed, and so the format's going to look a little differently for a little while. We're also using a different room because it's actually more of a house problem than it is a computer problem. So, this. So anyway, let's talk about DoorDash and a little bit of Airbnb's IPO. Now, there was supposed to be a third DoorDash IPO video that was supposed to come up on this channel yesterday. However, because of said issues with the house, it did not get uploaded. And it's probably a good thing it didn't get uploaded because it had pretty outdated information, as I predicted that at the very least the DoorDash stock would wildly underperform and the Airbnb stock would probably do a lot better because, long term, Airbnb is just a better investment. Look, I might have issues with some of their business practices. I might have concerns about what it does to the housing market, but you can't deny the logic. DoorDash is going public when they are doing the best that they've ever done before. Their sales have never been higher. Their dominance never more apparent, but they're still losing money, which that is a foolish IPO to jump into because really, how much higher can they grow? I don't think they can grow very much. In fact, with the vaccinations now officially being approved and elderly people will start getting them in February because obviously the doctors and the first responders, they get them first. Makes sense. I think we're going to start getting to the point where DoorDash is going to be used a heck of a lot less, along with Uber Eats and Postmates. I think Uber leaning into food delivery is not a wise decision for them, not in the long run. But that's a problem with gig economy companies. They are so reactionary. Now contrast that to Airbnb. Airbnb is going public when they are doing the worst that they've ever done, which means they've got plenty of room to rebound. And when people start traveling again, when it comes to the renting rooms, renting private houses through an app, no one competes with Airbnb. I mean, before there was DoorDash, there was Postmates, and after there was Postmates, there was Grubhub, and then there was Uber Eats, and Lyft is even starting to test their own delivery service, and you can bet that stock will go up once they actually announce it, although by the time they announce it, maybe it's too late. I think Lyft out of all of them are in the most danger of going under. But DoorDash actually did way better than I thought it would do. DoorDash, let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, I should have checked this out before I did it. No, I don't offer a permanent account. I don't care. I'm just going to select certain questions. Okay, there we go. So, sorry about that. That's the other thing about not having the other computer. Can't do the editing as much. So anyway, DoorDash reached a market value of $60 billion in its public trading debut, capping a dramatic rise for the U.S. meal delivery company whose business has flourished during the pandemic while drawing a backlash from restaurant groups. Shares in DoorDash closed out at $189.51 on Wednesday. Now, and that's 86% above the price of their initial public offering. So they were going to offer their IPO at $92, I believe. And actually, I was talking to your personal driver on the phone, because yes, he's still alive and he's doing well, just to let you all know. And we both laughed. We honestly thought they were going to get creamed. But they opened at they closed at $189.51. And I think they opened at $182. Like, it was bizarre. And then Airbnb was supposed to IPO at $68 per share. We thought that Airbnb would do much better. And it did. The IPO did soar over 100%. It opened at like 142. And full disclosure, I did buy Airbnb. I bought 8 shares of Airbnb for $140. I think it's down a little today, but, that's fine. then it didn't really do much. Like, in fact, let's go over here real quick and let's look at the DoorDash stock. It's now at 174.84. Here's the week. So as you can see, it opened. Let's just do the month. It opened and it's kind of going down. Now let's do Airbnb stock. Boy, this is weird. So it's starting to go down a little bit too. Let's go to the week. So both of them opened way above value and started going down immediately. I did buy Airbnb because I think long term they will be better, and that was an investment I was okay making. You know, like I said, I think they might be the real deal for a few years. DoorDash, I don't think so, because DoorDash is working at its best, not profitable. Airbnb is working at its worst, almost profitable. DoorDash has many, many competitors and many imitators. Airbnb does not. DoorDash's main product is, in a sense, their competitors. After a while, the restaurants, now that they're starting to do this themselves, you think they're going to want to share a chunk with DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats? They will probably have their own delivery services like Pizza Hut does. Airbnb, well, it's people's personal houses. If they don't want to rent their house, they're just not going to use Airbnb. There's no getting around the service. People can't rent their houses out without a licensed middleman. That's Airbnb. So, you know, they've got their suppliers over a gun. DoorDash does not. Well, over a barrel, I should say. So, Airbnb, you know, was priced at $60 a share, and it opened at $146 on its first day of trading. And by the way, travel stocks in general are just doing a whole lot better. Now, the reason I didn't post that old video is because I warned people against buying IPOs, and in fact, I even went against my own advice. I warned people that with many IPOs, especially when it comes to big tech companies, it's usually best to wait a year. You wait a year because the stocks typically open at the price that they're going to, and they tend to go down. And usually over the first year, they go down. And they go down because, you know, they're trying to figure out the business. And after you can figure out what their position is. You can get a couple of filing reports. Is the Airbnb purchase for me going to be a mistake? Maybe. But we'll see. I've got a good feeling about it. I don't have a good feeling about DoorDash at all. So that video was basically outdated the moment it came down. Both these companies did much, much better than I expect them to. But the question is, why did DoorDash do so much better than Airbnb? And I think the reason is because, frankly, the market is just very reactionary to the now. I mean, you would think that the stocks would be valued based more on the future potential, but they very rarely work out that way. For example, Disney stock yesterday went sky high during the investor call where they announced a bunch of new things and a healthy release of both theatrical and online distribution content. It will go down as the reality is that the parks are still not open for the most part, and the fact that Disney Plus is not profitable and that they're spending $9 billion a year to get to numbers that have never been reached before, that might sink in a little later. But for the time being, sure looks good. I think DoorDash and Airbnb is kind of in that same boat. DoorDash, it's like, hey, everyone's using DoorDash. Heck, I'm using DoorDash. Not me personally, but, you know, people are thinking like, I'm using DoorDash. All my friends using DoorDash. The pandemic isn't going to be over for a few months. Let's get DoorDash. Airbnb, well, travel is still down. Heck, we just entered a lockdown in California. I got the notification on my phone this morning. And, well, here's the thing. They're not going to be doing so hot the next few months, so I'm not going to buy Airbnb. For that reason, and this is not financial advice, this is why I decided to go with Airbnb instead of DoorDash. It's going to hurt a little in the short run, but I think long-term Airbnb will be a whole lot better. The point is, I do believe that that article that said that DoorDash was the most ridiculous IPO of all time. This serves as my unofficial part 3 to that. I still don't recommend you buy it. Of course, this is not financial advice. Talk to a financial advisor if you want advice on any of this. If you use a stash card, just hook it up to DoorDash, and every time you buy from DoorDash, you'll get stock now on them, I suppose. So, you know, that's kind of nice. That'd be the only way I'd recommend investing in them. But DoorDash, look, if you were a day trader and you bought a bunch of shares yesterday, then yeah, you could sell at the end of the day and you would have made a profit. Had you done that with Airbnb, maybe not so much. We're going to see where we are in a year from this, but it's interesting for what is poised to basically be a huge bubble burst at the end of the road. DoorDash did amazingly well, and Airbnb did do about what I expected it to do. And I just think it's interesting how we're now looking at DoorDash is climbing while Airbnb is dropping. I don't think that's going to be the case for 3 or 4 years. I think in 3 or 4 years, I think DoorDash will basically be a penny stock. And Airbnb, I don't know if it's going to be a whole lot higher, but I think it will be higher. But with that said, what do all of you think? Did you either of you buy these IPOs? If you did or didn't, why? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame response. This is a interesting, such an interesting day. It's actually my birthday today, and this was kind of just. I was greeted with having to scrap a video and make a whole new one. I don't know, like 35 years old, right? And things still surprise me. I guess that means life will just always be interesting. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone, and I will talk to you later.